Hey there! Let's talk about something we all do, every single day, communicate. But have you ever felt like you're talking, but nobody's really getting it? Well, that's what we're going to tackle today. We're not just talking theory, we are building a practical toolkit to make every word you say count.
Oh, you know this feeling, right? You've laid out an idea, you think it's absolutely crystal clear, you've picked your words so carefully, and you're met with just nothing. Blank stares. It is one of the most frustrating feelings, and believe me, it happens to every single one of us. So what if you had a set of go-to tools for pretty much any conversation? That's exactly the idea here. We're going to assemble a communication toolkit, piece by piece, full of practical skills to help you build bridges with your words, not walls. Okay, let's get into it. Every great toolkit needs a solid foundation, right? And for communication, that foundation isn't about talking. Nope. Before we even think about sending a message out, we have to get really good at taking information in. It all starts with listening and truly understanding. Think about it. We hear things all day long. Traffic, notifications, background noise. But how often do we actually listen? That's the huge difference with active listening. It's a conscious choice to shift from just passively letting sound in to actively trying to understand the meaning behind the words. You're not just waiting for your turn to talk, you're giving them your full, undivided attention. So, how do you actually do this? Well, it's pretty simple. It boils down to 3 key steps. First, you have to truly focus. That means put the phone down, turn away from the computer screen, give them your eyes. Second, ask questions to clarify. Don't just assume you get it. A simple, hey, can you tell me a little more about that, works wonders. And finally, here's the magic trick. Paraphrase. Say something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is. This not only checks your understanding, it makes the other person feel genuinely heard. It's a game changer. All right, active listening gets the information in. But our next tool, this is about understanding the person behind the words, and that's emotional intelligence, or EQ. You can think of it as your conversational compass. It helps you read the room, to notice the feelings and motivations that aren't always being said out loud. It's about what's happening between the lines. And here's where EQ really shows its power. Picture a tense moment. Without EQ, our gut reaction is often to get defensive, right? To react immediately. But with it, you gain this superpower to just pause. You can take a breath, consider where the other person is coming from, and choose a thoughtful, calmer response. That's how you de-escalate a situation instead of making it worse. So, our foundation for listening is solid. Now it's time to work on the other side of the equation, the tools for sending our message. This is all about getting your point across without confusion and making sure your body is saying the same thing as your mouth. I love this quote because it cuts right through the noise. Clarity always beats complexity. So often we think adding more words or fancy jargon makes us sound smarter, but really, the most powerful messages are the ones that are simple, direct, and easy to grasp. So, how do we get that clarity? Try running through this little mental checklist before you speak. First, what's the one key thing you really need to communicate? Organize your thoughts around that. Then drop the industry jargon, use simple words, and be brief. Honestly, respecting someone's time is one of the most powerful communication tools you've got.
But you know, what we say is only half the battle. This next point is huge. You could have the most beautifully crafted, clear sentence in the world, but if your body language is screaming something else, guess which message people are going to believe?
Just think about your own default stance in a conversation. Are you sending these open signals? Things like an open posture, good eye contact, nodding along. These things build trust and invite connection. Or are you maybe unintentionally putting up barriers with closed signals? Crossed arms, a frown, looking away. These tiny cues can completely change the entire vibe of an interaction. Okay, we've got our listening tools and we've got our messaging tools. But, just owning a toolbox doesn't make you a carpenter. To get really good, you have to actually use the tools. And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, mastery. Now, this isn't about being perfect overnight. Forget that. It's about committing to this really simple but powerful cycle, the mastery loop. You try out a skill, you get some feedback on how it went, and then you use that feedback to grow. It's a continuous, empowering process of getting a little bit better every single time. So where do you practice this stuff? Everywhere. That next team meeting on your calendar? That's not just a meeting, it's your communication gym. Use it as a chance to practice active listening. Afterwards, pull a trusted colleague aside and ask for one piece of feedback. The real key here is to see that feedback not as criticism, but as a free lesson in how to get better. Let's just let this one sink in for a second. Great communicators aren't born that way. It's not some magic gift. It is a skill. And just like learning an instrument or a sport, it's built brick by brick through consistent, intentional practice.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Think about the toolkit we just built. Active listening, emotional intelligence, clarity, body language. Don't try to do them all at once. Just pick one. What's the first tool you're going to deliberately put into practice this week?